So guys, I would like to give a little update on how life's going in the channel. I recently had a few days where I just didn't do anything. I was a little bit burnt out, and it happened to be a bit of a successful phase change, going to a new phase for my projects, I think. So a little bit of a backstory. Ever since I was a little kid, anytime I'm presented with a big problem that I don't know how to address in my life, I put that on hold, and then I just focus on anything else around me that I can focus on. And that keeps me busy, helps me not just fester on things. And then also, usually at the end of the day, if the big issue is solvable, then it actually clears away all the path around it to where I can finally have more thoughts, and I've had distance to come back to it and stuff, even though the big issues follow you everywhere you go. But I can actually tackle those issues. And so some of the biggest issues I've ever been through, I've just worked my way through by working on everything else I see. And that's how I've been working for the past couple of years now that I'm in Philadelphia. And things have been a lot better now as opposed to years ago, because I still don't quite have anything to really aspire to. I have a lot of little things that I do enjoy a little bit, but if I'm having a bad day, sometimes I really just don't care if my 3D printer works. I kind of don't care. And Final Fantasy 14 and other media such as that, it's not quite as beautiful and fun to play at the moment. But I have Thais, and getting to live with my best friend, and a lot of people, they think, oh, you need to get a girlfriend. No, best friend. Really think of it as an only friend I'll ever live with. I'm bonded to her. We're just not married legally, okay? So getting to have a sleepover every night with my best friend, I would say that kind of gives me maybe 27% life fulfillment, and then all the little projects and everything, they might give me 4% life fulfillment. Not a whole lot. You know, there's still room for a lot more reasons to be here, but slowly building those up. And in the meantime, I'm just keeping myself busy, doing a bit of everything, because it helps that you can be a part of the story around you. I'm not invested. I really don't care about what happens on Earth, and I don't really feel like this is my life. I feel like I'm just a spectator. I'm in control, but I almost feel like I'm in somebody else's place. I don't really feel invested in this life. But I've always made that agreement with myself that, well, no matter what reality I happen to be in, even if it feels so weird and like a dream, for me, reality is kind of hazy. I'll still interact with it. Whatever reality I'm faced with, I'll interact with it in the most sane way possible. And so even if it ended up being that this was all just like Earth as it is now is just a weird hallucination, and I wake up in a different reality, I'll just be like, well, I did my best. And so I've been spending a lot of time just doing the little things here and there, and I've kind of gone in a little bit too many directions. I have felt like I should do everything that's available to me, which is a bit much. And honestly, I don't really need to be doing so much building repair. I'd like to do what I still have, but I'm not going to expand that business anymore, because I don't need to do everything that's available to me now. After that 4 days of me doing nothing, I came back to work, and it's like, no, I don't need to have so much wood. If I need to make something out of wood, I can just buy the thing. Because also, thanks to you guys, you've helped a lot on Patreon. And I've had a few little jobs that we're not quite getting closer to the savings we wanted to be at, because we had $4,000 in savings, and I expected until we get to $6,000 in savings, I'm gonna be batten down the hatches, don't spend any extra money. But things have been a little bit easier because we had a few big things to pay off, and we were able to do that, and a few family members helped out, so that's been really nice. And then most of all, you guys have been helping me a lot more on Patreon, which really warms me and Theis's heart. So throughout life, I've always kind of just busied myself with the challenges that present themselves to me. And then I'll sometimes jump into more focus. Right now I don't have any big thing to put my life towards. When I worked at Apple in rapid prototyping for a few projects that shall not be named, I kind of worked well with getting swept up in that. It was exhausting, and I kind of just lived for the job, but I enjoyed getting swept up in that because I don't really have a whole lot else that I'm doing myself. If I had my way, I would be living in a world kind of like Final Fantasy XIV, maybe not with Garlemald, like a Middle Earth kind of setting, and I would be a blacksmith, and I would be having a quaint life. But we're on the very fast track to a cyberpunk dystopian future, and I'll just have to deal with that. So, I lost my train of thought here. After the 4 days of not doing very much, I came into the workshop, which I had already tried to rearrange the workshop a month and a half ago. Well, no, 2 months ago. 3 months ago. 2 months ago, I was cutting my hand with a table saw, and that kind of put a stop to the reorganization. One aspect was this shelving that I put up here. Now, these are held in with some pretty sturdy screws, and these are mostly just empty boxes. This is for some fairly light things, and also for packing material. So a lot of these boxes, those Pelican cases, the yellow Pelican cases, those are empty. So it's not as much weight up there as it looks. That's empty boxes for if I have to ship anything. And well, that kind of got stalled out. And here recently, whenever I had the few days of just becoming disillusioned with my current path, I was already disillusioned, but I just really came fed up, and I couldn't even tinker on my own stuff. And I came here and I filled up a dumpster full of scraps and bits that I knew I wouldn't need anymore. I was finally able to let go of them. And I'm going to be getting rid of more things. Like, for instance, I have the parts from this television. I'm going to be a rear projection television. I'm going to be getting rid of those. I'll be doing a video on them, but at first I thought I would try to use them in a project. Now, we'll just make a video, rip the parts out, laugh at all the weird components, and hang the interesting bits on the wall. And then I'm thinking I'm going to keep some of my work that I want for building and building maintenance, like maintaining these buildings. But then I'm also going to see about pushing more towards doing product development and rapid prototyping and the more tinkering kind of things. And I do feel like there is a duty for somebody to do more building maintenance, but, well, that can't be all me, So I'll maintain the buildings that I have access to, and I'm helping a friend start a makerspace, so that's probably enough for me. And so now comes a time where I'm not subscribing to somebody else's dream, like when I worked at a company. And I'm not just doing everything, I'm doing a little bit more of focus. And that makes things feel a little bit easier, feels a little bit less daunting. Instead of doing 6 things, I'm doing 4 things, it feels like. And it's a natural thing. You just have to, the reason why I did everything is because I didn't know what I wanted to do. And that put me in a position where I can decline certain things, so that's pretty good. And then my enterprise hardware job came calling, and I had to modify 120 monitor mounts real fast within a few days. So there were just piles of boxes. Here's a picture. And I had to take them out. And now I sent in a bid for this that, honestly, I was doing way too low, $240. I thought I was going to have to be machining every single clamp with like drilling it out and stuff. Well, turns out I just found a thread adapter on Amazon, had them buy it, and then they didn't even ship the rest of them to me. I only unpacked 45 of them. And I'm still going to charge the $242 for it. And yeah, so I really, I try to do things for really cheap. But this time, went in my favor. I didn't have to do hardly any work at all. It made a big mess, and I had to put a lot of the stuff in the dumpster, but oh well. And I get all this metal for free, which is kind of cool. I've already used a few pieces of this. For instance, if you take this bracket and you hook it onto a pipe, and then you have it sticking out from a wall, this is a perfect way to store rolls of tape. So that's leads into the next thing. I have, over the past month, been slowly rebuilding my friend's, in his company's building. In the basement is a room that has just been a pile for tools for the past 20 years. And I'm going through and doing a proper job of organizing it the way that, well, going beyond whenever I organize my labs at Apple. So really, I even though I quit working there, every time I organize a workspace, I keep getting better and better. And I put up this oak plywood. I really like how that turned out. It didn't turn out exactly how I imagined, but turned out pretty close to how I imagined. And I routed the edges, and we're putting up, this is called wall control. This is paneling. And then I'm also going to be cutting some wooden shelves, probably not out of this, but my friend happens to really enjoy 80/20. And so I 3D printed a bunch of copies of the really beautifully machined 90-degree angle brackets, and I'm going to use those for the shelves, because I'm going to have a few shelves in that space underneath the wall control frames. So then the enterprise hardware job struck again, and the same week I had to convert all of those monitor mounts. I had to go help move a lab, and unspeakably cool things were in that lab. Oh, you might not be able to see some of these things. Actually, you weren't even supposed to see that. That's all you'll get to see. Just imagine room after room after room of amazing machines. And I went into the new lab where we were moving all of these servers, and we were actually building out new servers, because it's interesting, in the modern age, doing repeated tests has given way to AI simulations. Why have yourself wasting time and chemicals doing tests when you can just do the simulations and then do whatever simulation the simulation says is right? And then you can choose from that. It's much better. So it's amazing to see this happening. Just racks of GPUs replacing biomedical research machines. And so we had to make space for all of these GPU-based server racks to replace all this medical equipment or biomedical equipment. And the professor, he was like, oh, I wish this stuff would just disappear. And well, literal as I am, I'm like, I'll take it. And so he's like, you want it? Take it. So we have these. It's an HPLC, and I have the manuals for this at home. I contacted a few people and got the software for it, but I may have to hack it. Don't know. And then I also have a mass spectrometer. I believe it's called a mass spectrometer. I have only a rough idea of what these machines do, but I have a rough idea that these would be very good for a home lab. And the Deca XP Plus, whatever the LCQ, it's in the back of the car. So it's so heavy I can't move it out of the car yet. The Deca XP Plus spectrometer, I think it's mass spectrometer. That I need to get some specialty software for it. So that might be a little bit difficult. I might maybe find somebody else that wants that one. But these seem pretty cool. So apparently they pass liquid through a filter to slow it down and basically stretch it, kind of like how sending light around a star or through an intense gravitational field could separate the light stuff from the heavy stuff. Or a prism separates light from highest wavelength to lowest wavelength. And then you can test the light properties, the light absorbing properties of all the chemicals that you've now separated. And you can get a lot of information from that, apparently, which is really cool. And so this is kind of funny that I wanted to do more tinkering things. And, well, I got some very good toys to work with. And I'm still planning to do woodworking. I'm just not planning to do the same kind of woodworking I was thinking I would be doing earlier. I'm thinking I'll probably make a business out of it. Oh, right. Another thing, elephant in the room. I put these lights up. And boy, are they nice. Still have the ladder up because I'm lazy. I've been busy. Just yesterday, I was moving a bunch of server systems. So finally done with that. Finally. I'm really happy with how this looks because if you guys recall, let's see. Remember, that's how it looked before. I've been working with that for almost a year and a half, which is not bad. Don't get me wrong. I do enjoy the side light. But this does work. It just does work. Yeah, so, so I don't want to say like things are terrible, and I don't want to say that things are great. Things just are, and I'm existing. Because sure, I look in the camera and I do not see that, I do not feel like I'm that person. I feel like it's just another character that I play. And I look at my life and it's nice. It's pretty quaint. I live an amazingly minimalistic life. Me and Thais live off of like $8,000 a year, which is basically unheard of. And well, she gives about $10,000 a year. I live on $8,000, so it's about $18,000 in total. And so it's a pretty quaint life. And I'm doing my best to find the little things to enjoy in it. And yeah, I'm hoping to do more Solar Sunday videos. I kind of sold out, happy to say. I never had an outward-facing email on my YouTube channel. Didn't want to deal with it, had too many commenters. But now, my YouTube channel is kind of dying out. And I recently had that battery backup video go a little bit crazy. So I finally made an email just for my outward-facing. And lo and behold, there's a bunch of companies wanting to send me thousands of dollars in equipment. I just got a TIG welder for free. I am so happy. And I'm also seeing about another company contacted me about lithium iron phosphate batteries. I was like, well, sure. If you send me $1,000 in batteries, I'll give you a free review. Because otherwise, I don't feel like having to pay for that. I want to live a minimalist lifestyle. And it'd be also kind of cool if I can just start accepting these things and then give those tools to the makerspace. The makerspace is called Spore House in Upper Darby. There really isn't anything out about it yet. We're still going to be fixing up the building and stuff. But my friend, she owns the building, and that's pretty cool. Today was an interesting day because I wasn't going to be working today. I wasn't even going to be coming here today. But my friend who has the software business, one of their employees broke a laptop. And so, well, the laptop motherboard seems like it's fully fried. So we took out the M.2 SSD and we took out the RAM because that stuff's still good. And we'll maybe keep it around for parts. And so I thought, why don't I 3D print a nice little holder for the RAM and for the M.2 cards? And he thought, well, wouldn't you want to have some electrostatic discharge safe filament? And I was like, oh yes, I think I could. And this friend of mine, he always has me try out the hard filament because he knows that I'll be able to make it work for the most part. And so he pulled out a little pouch of a test sample of some copper filament. And it's like, well, I guess that would be ESD safe, huh? If it is copper, it is conductive. Okay, I can. You just want me to test out the copper filament for you. So at home right now, I have my 3D printer printing some really weird high temperature PLA or heat treatable PLA. Hard to remember which one that is. But it's PLA that you can heat treat. And then it makes it look like copper. And you can patina it and stuff. So that is kind of cool. I kind of feel like going back home to check on it because I worry it failed. But I came here to plug a USB drive into my Mac because one of the people that sent me a bunch of disk images sent them to me in DMG format. And it's like, well, I have a Mac. I'll bring the DMG files here, plug them into the Mac, and you know what? I took the mouse from here, so I went ahead and I already came, and I realized I didn't have the mouse. Okay, I'm an idiot. But when I came back, I brought the mouse, and then I remembered I don't have a keyboard. Oh, right, okay. I left the keyboard there too. So today's a good day just to not do anything. I can already tell it's not a day for doing things. I managed to 3D print so far with a really rare filament. That's enough for me. I don't want to tempt fate anymore. No table song today. And today is a day for relaxation. Today is a day that I will mess something up royally. And I think that's pretty much it. I think that is pretty much it. Well, I also got this cleaned up. See, I'm doing so many things that are outside the YouTube channel now that if I don't document it, I won't show you guys. I'm probably going to throw away a good number of more things. And I'm also probably going to finally replace this with some better like bench or shelving or something like that. Something that kind of goes up to that. Yeah. So yeah, I just want to let you know. Oh, and also, if you're wondering, my finger has been healing up really nice since my November incident. And I even have the piece of wood. And if I had a marker with me, I would mark where I cut it wrong. That'll be a document to save. I am excited for this equipment. I'm really excited. I did that all in one take. This is like what this makes me think of? This makes me think of an Aussie 50 Ramblotron video, except for the camera's pointed at me. Yeah.